Justice Amy CONEY Barrett. Justice Amy CONEY Barrett. Yes, right. She was confirmed. Y'all can go home and go cry now. Go ahead. Y'all can go cry. We don't mind.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mitch McConnell, let's go! 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 Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mitch McConnell, let's go!
So long as I don't have to do the farmers when I write down.
Ho, ho! Mitch McConnell, let's go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Mitch McConnell, let's go! Mitch McConnell, let's go! Ho, ho! Mitch McConnell, let's go! Hey, hey! 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 Let's go! Hey, hey! Go! Go home, fascists! Go home, fascists!
You're the fascists!
Go home, fascists!
Go home, fascists!
Go home, fascists!
You're the fascists!
Fuck you, fascists!
You're the fascists!
Fuck you, fascists!
You're the fascists!
My check!
Trump 2020! Four more years! Four more years! Four more years!
If we don't get it,
You're a fascist!
if we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! What do we want? Equal rights! When do we want them? If we don't get it! If we don't get it! I said if we don't get it! Go home, fascists! Go home, fascists! Go home, fascists!
Supporters are fascists. I'm not even a Trump supporter, I know that. Also, black people and white people are genetically different and it doesn't make you racist. And gender equality is
This
not legitimate.
motherfucker promoting eugenics over here! This motherfucker over here promoting eugenics!
You're insane.
Go home, fascists! Go home, fascists!
You have a weird thing going on with
Amy
you.
CONEY Barrett is a fascist
No,
nominee!
she's not.
And you guys are not going to stop it. I mean, yeah.
He said stuff about Trump. He said stuff about and then Princess Steiner says that Princess Love looks like collective. Yeah, universities look like which means all other a lot of Christians they teach that music is full of always like this fruity little flower. Jesus wasn't that. He was angry. He was angry sometimes. Well, you do, yeah, you do too. I mean, that's all I need here. Years ago, but the way that you love might look different than the way I love, and my love and your love may look different. One is not right and one's wrong. We just have different perspectives. I've never been in this school. Do you think whenever Jesus went into the temple and overturned
From this way, you support gender equality! From this way, you support gender equality! I don't fuck Amy CONEY Barrett!
But I think the last is enormous because it's
became illegal. It became illegal and it was still I want to thank you for that. It will be so easy.
I'm trying to.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Roe v. Wade has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Roe v. Wade has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Roe v. Wade has got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Roe v. Wade has got to go! Hey, hey!
If you support this fascist nomination, follow me.
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Bye! Go home, liberals!
Hey, but I really support you.
Go home!
Are you with them?
Go home, liberals!
Okay. I'm kind of wondering what's going on with the high school protest. I was just asking her if I could get the microphone to tell everybody, like, the livers over here and the fucking Christians over there that's trying to take.
Wait, people just come out and say they support fascism.
I mean, I'm pretty passionate about it.
Nice meeting you.
That's what kind of curious, like, where the counter protesters
Thank you for coming. Oh, thank you for coming.
what
gentlemen, the President of the United States, accompanied by Justice Clarence Thomas and Justice Amy Coney Barrett.
شكرا لكم جزيلا. شكرا لكم سادة الضيوف الكرام. إنها لحظة تاريخية للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية لجميع الولايات والإطار الدستوري الأمريكي والعدالة والشفافية. الدستور التي الأول عن الحقوق الأمريكية والحرية القانون وشعار جمهوريتنا. ولهذا أنا كرئيس مارست السيدة تعيين القاضية الجديدة الآن، وراح يكون الآن لمشاهدة هذه اللحظة التاريخية. وفي لحظات ستقوم السيدة بارت بالقضية القسمية الدستورية السيدة إيمي كوني بارت كعضو للمحكمة الدستورية، المحكمة العليا. طبعا هي واحدة من أهم الأوجه العلمية المتميزة في الولايات الأمريكية، وقد قامت بمسار قضائي جيد في المحكمة العليا، وهي السيدة جسبة والحاكمة باريت الآن. أيضا عملت على مدى طويل جدا في مسار القضاء، وهي أيضا شكلت تجربة جيدة للدفاع عن القضاء بصورة جيدة لجميع الأمريكيين، وبكم الكثير من السيد كلارنس توماس. طينا بلدنا
Our country owes a great debt of thanks to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. We appreciate it very much, Mitch. Thank you. And we are grateful as well to the Senate Judiciary Chairman, Lindsey Graham. Thank you, Lindsey. Also with us, Senators Marsha Blackburn, Mike Braun, Bill Cassidy, Kevin Cramer, Ted Cruz, Steve Daines, Ron Johnson, James Lankford, Mike Lee, and Martha McSally. And I hope I didn't leave anybody out. And a very special thanks to our great Vice President, Mike Pence. Thank you, Mike. Also, I want to thank White House Counsel Pat Cipollone. Thank you, Pat. And very importantly, I want to welcome Justice Barrett's husband, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you. Let me also recognize beautiful children who have become really just very, very popular in this nation. People have been watching them and loving them, and they're watching right now back home in Indiana. Thank you very much. Indiana, thank you very much. But I speak to everyone when I say that the Barrett family has captured America's heart. It is highly fitting that Justice Barrett fills the seat of a true pioneer for women. It's Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Tonight, Justice Barrett becomes not only the fifth woman to serve on our nation's highest court, but the very first mother of school-aged children to become a Supreme Court justice. Very important. Over the past few weeks, the entire world has seen Justice Barrett's deep knowledge, tremendous poise, and towering intellect. She answered questions for hours on end. Throughout her entire confirmation, her impeccable credentials were unquestioned, unchallenged, and obvious to all. Justice Barrett earned a full academic scholarship to Notre Dame Law School, graduated first in her class, and served as a clerk for Justice Antonin Scalia. She was a beloved professor at Notre Dame Law School for 15 years before I very proudly appointed her to the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit in 2017. The American people have been profoundly impressed to learn of her achievements, her compassion, her generosity, her faith, and her sterling character. Justice Barrett made clear she will issue rulings based solely upon a faithful reading of the law and the Constitution as written, not legislate from the bench. The equal, impartial, and constitutional rule of law that we enjoy every day in America is one of the crowning achievements in the history of human civilization. It is the triumph of reason, experience, and the values which are eternal and everlasting. Our devotion to this inheritance is what has made America the most just, exceptional, and glorious nation ever to exist. I want every American child watching to understand that this is a very special and important ceremony. We are fulfilling the duty that passes to each new generation to sustain the national traditions and virtues that make possible everything we have achieved before that. We will do tomorrow because of our Constitution and our culture of freedom. You live in a land where anything is possible and where any dream can come true. No matter who you are, no matter your background, in America, everyone is entitled to equal protection under our laws, and your sacred rights can never, ever be taken away. The march of liberty that began with the American Revolution continues onward this evening. Tonight at the White House, we carry forward the cause of freedom, equality, and justice for which so many generations of Americans have given so much. We honor the cause for which men died to win the Civil War and for which they jumped out of airplanes and shed their blood on distant battlefields. We honor the immortal principles inspired millions in the struggle for civil rights, and we take special pride in the nation that inspires billions of people all over the world. We must never take this radiant inheritance for granted. We must never lose confidence in our history, our heritage, or in our heroes. To reach for the stars, we must stand upon the strong and sturdy foundation built by those incredible Americans who came before. Justice Barrett, as you take your oath tonight, the legacy of our ancestors falls to you. The American people put their trust in you and their faith in you as you take up the task of defending our laws, our Constitution, and this country that we all love. We ask God to give you wisdom and courage. I know you will make us all very, very proud as long as we are loyal to our founding and to our fellow citizens. America's future will be bright. America's destiny will be great. and America's people will forever and always be free. I now ask Justice Thomas to administer the oath. Thank you very much.
I, Amy CONEY Barrett, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter.
the duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you all for being here tonight. And thank you, President Trump, for selecting me to serve as an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court. It's a privilege to be asked to serve my country in this office, and I stand here tonight truly honored and humbled. Thanks also to the Senate for giving its consent to my appointment. I am grateful for the confidence you have expressed in me, and I pledge to you and to the American people that I will discharge my duties to the very best of my ability. This was a rigorous confirmation process, and I thank all of you, especially Leader McConnell and Chairman Graham, for helping me to navigate it. My heartfelt thanks go to the members of the White House staff and Department of Justice who worked tirelessly to support me through this process. Your stamina is remarkable, and I have been the beneficiary of it. Jesse and I are also so grateful to the many people who have supported our family over these last several weeks. Through ways both tangible and intangible, you have made this day possible. Jesse and I have been truly awestruck by your generosity. I have spent a good amount of time over the last month at the Senate, both in meetings with individual senators and in days of hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The confirmation process has made ever clearer to me one of the fundamental differences between the federal judiciary and the United States Senate. And perhaps the most acute is the role of policy preferences. It is the job of a senator to pursue her policy preferences. In fact, it would be a dereliction of duty for her to put policy goals aside. By contrast, it is the job of a judge to resist her policy preferences. It would be a dereliction of duty for her to give in to them. Federal judges don't stand for election. Thus, they have no basis for claiming that their preferences reflect those of the people. This separation of duty from political preference is what makes the judiciary distinct among the three branches of government. A judge declares independence not only from Congress and the President, but also from the private beliefs that might otherwise move her. The judicial oath captures the essence of the judicial duty the rule of law must always control. My fellow Americans, even though we judges don't face elections, we still work for you. It is your Constitution that establishes the rule of law and the judicial independence that is so central to it. The oath that I have solemnly taken tonight means at its core that I will do my job without any fear or favor, and that I will do so independently of both the political branches and of my own preferences. I love the Constitution and the democratic republic that it establishes, and I will devote myself to preserving it. Thank you.
Amy CONEY Barrett there, just confirmed as a justice on the US Supreme Court by the Republican-controlled Senate, and now taking the oath of office at the White House. The oath of office administered by Judge Clarence Thomas. Has to be said, that event with really no masks to be seen, despite that super spreader event held at the White House to mark her nomination. Our correspondent Lebu Juseko is on Capitol Hill for us. Lebu, very noticeable, the judge there, soon to be justice, addressing in her acceptance speech one of the main concerns that many people who do not welcome her appointment have. This distinction, as she put it, between judges on the one hand and members of Congress and President on the other. It's the job of a judge, she said, to resist policy preferences. It would be a dereliction of duty to give in to them.
It's interesting, Mike. I don't know whether that will allay the views of her critics or not. That is a point of view that she said time and time again during the confirmation hearings, and really it aligns with the originalist view, a view that is very much that you have to take the text of the law as it was written. Not only can you not kind of put your own personal views into this, but equally you're not meant to interpret the law for now, given that the Constitution was written so long ago. A justice like Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a different view, which is that, you know, your life experience is it is the prism through which you see things. Certainly she spent a lot of time really working and advocating for equality between the sexes because of her experiences. And equally, she had a different view in terms of interpreting those laws and the Constitution, saying, look, you have to, that the law is a living, breathing thing, and it is not stuck in one time. You have to interpret it for our particular, the time that we live in. So actually what she's saying, it may have been designed to allay people's...
For the rest of this election campaign, for some voters, there really is no more important issue than a solid Conservative majority on the Supreme Court.
Yes. 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 Very popular has. Yes. Very popular has. Yes, very popular has the fact that you have an African American justice swear American justice swear American justice, bad taste in certainly Democrats' mouths over the way that this has happened and the fact that it's happened before the election, whether that might energize Democratic voters to come out.
Lebu, thank you very much indeed for that. And just in case you've just joined us, we'll stay with these pictures for a moment. In a major victory for Mr. Trump, Amy Coney Barrett has been confirmed as a justice on the US Supreme Court and has taken the oath of office at the White House. She is 48, is a lifetime post. It could shape the United States for a generation. You're watching BBC News. Well, let's get some more on this now. We can speak to Saha Aziz, Professor of Law at Rutgers University Law School. She's in Newark, in New Jersey. Thank you very much for your time. Good to talk to you again. As you watched those pictures, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that I'm very concerned with the legitimacy of the Supreme Court in the future. This was a nomination that was rammed through. The average time to nominate and confirm a justice or a nominee for the Supreme Court is 67 days. This was done in 30 days. It was done just 8 days before an election that may change who the president is and who controls the Senate, whether it'll be the Democrats or the Republicans. And I think that many people who do not share the conservative leanings of this new court are going to start questioning its legitimacy and will start thinking it is more of a political body as opposed to a more legal body.
And President Trump raised this point because she was filling the seat of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, an enormously important figure and an entirely different kind of lawyer and human being.
Yes, I mean, just now Justice Barrett has gone on the record saying that she believes that the contraception provision in the Affordable Care Act violates religious freedom. She has gone on the record stating that she believes that Roe v. Wade, she hasn't said she would necessarily overturn it, but she's made statements in the past showing that she supports, she opposes abortion. And there's going to be a case that's going to come before the Supreme Court is going to decide whether it's going to hear a case challenging a Mississippi law that was passed in Mississippi by the legislature and the governor that abortions after 15 weeks are banned unless there's a medical emergency or a severe fetal disability. But there is no exception for rape, no exception for incest. This Friday, in 4 days, the court is going to decide whether it's going to hear that case, and she will now vote in that. And if it comes before the Supreme Court, there's a real question whether they're going to uphold that law that will make it illegal to get an abortion after 15 weeks.
And of course, if the election is very tight, if the Supreme Court is called upon to decide, she will be one of 3 Trump nominees having to decide who is the next president.
Yes, if there is a challenge, if, for example, as President Trump has said, he may not concede if it's found to be that he lost the elections. She's also going to be presiding over some cases that are coming before the court about Trump himself. So, for example, whether or not he must disclose 8 years of tax returns. The Second Circuit has said that, yes, that he's not immune from a grand jury subpoena and that a prosecutor in New York City can get access to his federal taxes. And now she's going to be on that court. And so the question is, will she be biased in her ruling, in her vote? And you've got a 6-3 conservative court. 3 of them were appointed by Trump himself. So there's going to be some very serious questions as to, again, whether this court can be independent from this administration and whether it's going to, in fact, vote based on its policy